Okay, so in this quick video, we're going to see how you can see which external users, folders and documents in SharePoint Online have been shared with. So we have here a SharePoint document library. It's a bit of a messy library. I've got folders in it. Within my folders, I've got various documents and so on. And what's been happening is my users have been sharing some of these documents with external parties. So how can I find out who those external users are? So there's a couple of techniques. The first is through the user interface itself. What you can do is take a look at a particular folder, click on the item and select the Manage Access option. Now, Manage Access will pop up this window on the right hand side. That will show you who has access using SharePoint's own security model, so standard SharePoint security. But in addition, it's also going to show you who outside of the organization can edit this document using a sharing link. So you can see here, there's an example of a link for external users. And if I click on the three dots, I can see who the external user or users are. You'll notice that there's actually another link as well. So again, I can see who has access via this link. So that's all fine. So I can see at a glance who has access to these files. Similarly, if I wanted to take a look at particular files within this folder, similar idea, I can click on the three dots beside a file and click on Manage Access. And similar to before, you'll see who has access directly, but also you'll see this, this link giving access as well. And clicking on the three dots shows you who the external user is. So that's technique one. It lets you examine items on an item by item basis to see who has access to the object. There's another way of doing this. So if you go to the library settings for the document library in question and go to the permissions for this document library, you'll notice that there is a warning at the top indicating that some of the items on the list have unique permissions which are not controlled from this page. In other words, there are files or folders within this library which have broken permissions inheritance and have therefore granted additional users access to the objects. Now, the good thing is SharePoint will allow you to show these items. So this lets us see at a glance which of the items within our messy library have their own permissions. So I can see folders A, B, and C all have their own permissions, as well as these files within those folders as well. Now, if I wanted to take a look, for example, at folder B, what's going on with folder B, I can click on Manage Permissions. That again will show me the standard SharePoint permissions for who has access to this folder. So the standard members, owners, visitors groups. But also you'll see that there are users who have permissions through a sharing link. And you can click on Manage Links to see who actually has access. And you'll probably recognize this similar window to what we saw before. These are the SharePoint users and groups who have access to the item. And these are the users who have access via a sharing link. So you can see here, these guys have access to the file. There's also a third technique that we can use. The third technique is to use the site usage function within SharePoint Online. How do you access that? Well, if you go to the site contents for your site, and you will notice at the top here in modern view, there is this site usage option. Site usage, if you click on it, will let you see the usage of your site, obviously, some basic statistics. But most interestingly here, it lets us see the items shared with external users, and importantly, it allows us to run a report. Now, this report will take a little bit of time to generate, so you need to choose a destination into which this report will be saved. So I'm going to put it into this reports folder here and click on Save. Now, this process will take a few moments, probably up to I've seen it taking up to 5-10 minutes. And indeed, if you try to run a report while the previous one is still running, you'll get this warning indicating the report is currently being generated. So that's fine. The good thing is I actually have previously created a report. So let's take a look. Where the report is stored is in the Documents document library. It's going into this Reports folder. And there, within the last 2 minutes, a report had been generated previously. So if I now take a look at this report, you'll see what it is. It's an Excel spreadsheet. It shows you the resources that have been shared, the types of those resources. So folders, for example, individual documents, and so on. It shows you the level of access on each object and who has that access. But importantly, it lets you see external users as well. These are users who have actually accessed the item. So you'll see here I've got quite a few items which have been accessed externally. So you can see here this particular file, sheet A, has been accessed by this chap. It's also been accessed by this person as well. Similarly, yep, we can see it's been accessed by the same person again. And if we keep scrolling up here, yep, you'll see various other examples of where items have been shared externally. So you can see at a glance which of the libraries, folders and files within those folders have been shared with external users. So a few techniques to do this. It's perhaps not the easiest thing to do, particularly if you're familiar with standard SharePoint permissions. Standard SharePoint permissions are fairly straightforward and easy to work with and to run reports against. However, when you're using sharing like this, SharePoint sharing, it can become a little bit more difficult to run the reports. But hopefully this quick video will show you some of the techniques that you can use to identify those items that have been shared externally and take steps if necessary to revoke access as required.